was a lot of media that included Fox, CNN, the networks, around New Year's Day going into January 1 and 2 of 2011, about 75,000 red-winged blackbirds falling out of the sky in Beebe, Arkansas, and then further south over the next week, there were hundreds of thousands of birds that were falling out of the sky dead. No one knew why. I talked with some investigators, and associated with that phenomena of the birds falling out of the sky, people were reporting loud booms, shaking windows, shaking roofs, and were not, you would think, fireworks on New Year's Eve. These were at times that had nothing to do with the midnight firing of fireworks. So now, from that point of these strange and multiple media reported events, January 1st going into January of 2011, today, as we speak on May 8th, 2014, I've done probably 75 reports with interviews recorded with people all over the United States and Canada especially, and I'll try to give you a sense of how confusing and weird all of this is, and it is a phenomenon that persists today. I get probably 20 to 30 reports every month. Wow. And they are from people that are coming from areas of the United States where this, we'll call it the boom phenomena, has persisted in cycles. Now, it isn't just booms. After this series of booms in 2011, starting again in January of 2012, believe it or not, the same thing happened on New Year's Eve in Beebe, Arkansas, in the central United States. Thousands of birds fell out of the sky again, and it was associated with booms. This phenomenon has been going on in terms of a beginning in all of my work in January of 2011, and we're talking on May 8, 2014. And the boom phenomena, the trumpet sounds and the metallic scraping sounds have been going on and increasing, especially in the last year. I did an interview only a couple of months ago with a man who had worked in the Wyoming government, very responsible, and he called and said, I've got to share with you something that it has haunted me, and I have never known who to talk to, which is a strange situation in the United States of America. Everybody should feel that they can report anything that is valid, and especially if you've worked in the state government, but he was afraid to because he was up on a trip, sort of a quasi-vacation and hunting trip in the mountains of Wyoming, north of Casper. And he's just out by himself on a beautiful, clear, sunny day when he said at first it sounded like he heard this strange sound, which other people have also heard that. And then he said to his complete disbelief, it was as if he was 360 degrees surrounded by the sound of something like a trumpet blasting with a metallic sound scraping quality. He couldn't figure it out. And then he looked up, and there was a black triangle. He drew it for me. He said it was moving at such a rate that when he saw it, and he also had aviation experience and a pilot, he said this black triangle was at one end of the horizon and went to the other in what he thought was no more than 2 or 3 seconds. And he said, Linda, that's not possible. Not with anything we have terrestrial. And he said, in my mind, I associate the appearance of this strange black triangle moving so rapidly in the sky with this sound. But the sound, he said, whatever it was that went over me, the sound stayed for a while. And this is giving you a sense that people who are very professional have reported to me, first with reluctance, but because of the state government or I've had scientists, I've had others reporting this. I have begun to be sort of a crossroads now for a lot of these reports coming to me. And 1 year ago, exactly, almost, in June of 2013, I received first an email and then a phone call from a man, gave me his background, address, phone number, everything, said, but you can't record me, but I want you to have this information because I have a colleague who is working at Hill Air Force Base. He's a geophysicist, and he says our government in the United States has been studying the relationship between changes in the core of this planet Earth and sounds that they are picking up on instruments in which they think infrasound is being generated inside of the Earth, going through the mantle, out the crust, up to the ionosphere, and bouncing back. Well, I have never heard of any boom reports or metallic scrapings or trumpet sounds before January of 2011, and I said that to him. And he said that's true because what they've been studying is emanations in infrasound, which usually humans cannot hear, but dogs, cats, elephants can. So then what this led to was more information coming from this alleged whistleblower who was working through an intermediary to let me know that whatever is going on in the Earth, it's accelerating and that they have some concern. Well, then I took all of that to a professor of geophysics at Stanford University where I did my master's degree. Professor Ariana Gleason, she's a PhD. She's in the Department of Geological and Environmental Sciences at Stanford University. You can't be in a more credible and respectable institution on the planet than that. And I explained the whole thing, and I did not know what the science would be, but she, last year, had been published about her studies of changes in the central core of the Earth, which I knew nothing about till I interviewed her because of the whistleblower. And it turns out that there really are measurements that seem to suggest that the inner core and the outer core of our planet has changed from a sphere spinning to something that is now more oblong, and they think it is causing infrasound coming through the Earth. And is it related to all of the sinkholes that have been increasing?